Hey yogis, welcome to my channel. My name is Kassandra. This is a quick 5-minute yoga sequence to target and stretch your hip flexors. So working on the psoas muscle and hip flexors, this is the entire front of your hip. It's what allows you to actually flex at the hip and pick up and lift that knee. So for most of us, we spend a lot of time sitting down, which means that it gets really tight. So we need to be able to stretch that out. Lengthening and stretching your hip flexors is one of the best things that you can do to actually alleviate lower back pain. So 3 best poses for this. You are going to need a block for one of these, but one that doesn't require any kind of props is your low lunge. It's very straightforward. This is the one that I practice every single day. Not a day goes by that I don't do a low lunge because I need it for the health of my hip flexors and the health of my low back. So stepping the right foot forward, you want to keep your knee directly over the top of your ankle. And you can keep your fingertips down to the floor. Think of pressing your hips forward and down, letting gravity pull your hips down towards the floor. This is my cat Cleo. She's gonna join me here, I guess. And the more you can kind of just let gravity do the work for you, the deeper you're going to feel this through the connective tissues getting into those hip flexors. So pose number 2 can be added on to this one. If you'd like to go further, you can add a quad stretch to deepen this. Keep your left hand down on the mat and stretch your right arm to the back. Bend into that left knee and see if you can catch a hold of the foot as you pull your heel in. So what we don't want to do here is lift our hips up to bring the heel in closer. I'm trying to keep my hips just as low as they were before and just bringing that heel back in towards me. And you should feel this really intensify the stretch into your hip flexors, into the psoas, and a little bit into the quads as well. So let's go ahead and release that. If you were to do this every day, I would try to hold each pose for 5 to 10 breaths or so. So to the other side, left foot steps forward, press the hips forward and down. Try to relax your pelvis and really keep your weight evenly distributed through all 4 corners of that front foot. So you don't want your knee to be wavering side to side. Let go of any tension in your neck or in your shoulders. And maybe you choose to stay here or pose number 2, integrating your quad stretch. Reach back with your left hand. Start to bend into your right knee and see if you can catch a hold of your foot as you pull that heel in. So remember to melt the hips down towards the floor. I know this pose is intense, and the tighter your hip flexors are, the more intensely you're going to feel this one. But I'm telling you, when practiced regularly, it's like a miracle worker. Carefully release that back foot. And now grab a hold of your block. We're gonna lower down onto our backs. This is a wonderful pose that you can do, especially if you have sensitive knees and still want to target your hip flexors. So starting in a supported bridge pose, I like to do it with my block under my hips at the lowest level. If you have a lot of flexibility, you can do with the block at the second height, but let's just see how the first level feels. All you're going to do is draw your right knee in towards your belly and then straighten that left leg out. If your hip flexors are really tight, you're gonna notice that your left heel kind of hovers off the floor a little bit. Over time, it's gonna drop down and you'll start to feel a nice big stretch into the front of that left hip. So relaxing your shoulders, and you can even hold this one for like a minute or 2 if you'd like. A really therapeutic pose for your hips. And we'll just switch sides, bring your left knee in and straighten your right leg out. You might notice that one leg feels totally different from the other. That's fine too, completely normal. We all have some imbalances. Try to keep your arms relaxed and your breath deep. And let's release from this pose. So remember, you could also try this with the block up a little bit higher if you'd like, but move the block off to the side, roll over and press to lift up, taking a seat. So that's it. Those are my top 3 favorite yoga poses to increase flexibility and to stretch out your psoas and your hip flexors. So you have your low lunge with the added quad stretch, and you also have your supported bridge, adding a kneaded chest variation to really get into those hip flexors. I hope you find this helpful, especially if you have lower back pain. I would do this sequence, but then I also have a video here on YouTube. That's my top 3 yoga poses for lower back pain, so you can check that out. I'll link to it down below. Please subscribe. I put out new content pretty much all the time, and I would love to share it with you. Thanks so much. Namaste.